name is Traven Apiki, and I'll be attending the University of Hawaii at Hilo, where I'm double majoring in Hawaiian Studies and Marine Science. I'm from Homer, Alaska, and started my SCA adventure down in Sanibel, Florida, where we had our orientation with the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. It was an amazing experience that allowed me to meet other CDIP interns and learn about the Fish and Wildlife Service, as well as what SCA had to offer. The orientation allowed me to experience what the Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge was like, and to learn about possible future careers in the Fish and Wildlife Service. After orientation, I traveled back to Homer, Alaska, the farthest westward destination on the road system. Homer is a beautiful town, and although I lived there for the past few years, there were many new things I had the chance of experiencing this summer. I was able to get across to Ketchimack Bay to the state park, tour the boat harbor. I ate the greatest halibut tacos at the local farmers market, and devoured the best halibut fish and chips I have ever had. The beauty of Homer, especially during the summer, when the wildflowers were blooming, was breathtaking. I visited the Homer Spit as much as I could, found a lot of visitors to talk to, and truly experienced the beautiful art that Homer had to offer. I even went out halibut fishing here at the halibut fishing capital of the world. I used the summer to view my town as a tourist would, and it opened my eyes to all sorts of new experiences I never would have had if it hadn't have been for SCA. Throughout the summer, I'll be doing all sorts of interesting activities, but my main job is visitor services here at the Alaska Maritime Wildlife Refuge headquarters, also known as Islands and Oceans Visitor Center. The Visitor Center is amazing, but it can only give you a glimpse of how awe-inspiring and wild the Alaska Maritime Wildlife Refuge truly is. The first time that I visited the Visitor Center, I was amazed by all the detail that went into the exhibits. As soon as visitors came in, they loved to climb on the sea lion for pictures. When families got around to the bird cave, a lot of smaller children would start crying, until they realized the birds wouldn't hurt them. By the end of the summer, I had Orville's speech memorized. The recording in the trapper cabin was of Orville talking about the trapping that went on in the past. We had an amazing photo exhibit with pictures that made you stand there in amazement. Visitors love to go into our auditorium and watch our movies, especially The Journey of the Tekla, a movie about our research vessel and our refuge. I loved interacting with visitors each day and learning some of their stories. Later in the summer, one of my projects was helping with a few of the Discovery Labs. The Discovery Labs had a different theme each week and provided a chance for the community and visiting tourists to become engaged with various topics, such as fishing or recent studies funded by the Exxon Valdez oil spill. It was a great time to learn new things myself and to teach other people new things. A big trip that I took was to Galena, Alaska, where I was part of a 6-person group that helped residents affected by a disastrous flood that submerged much of the town. We stayed for 11 days, and while we were there, we helped Fish and Wildlife employees and local residents alike to tear out insulation, rotten flooring, and recover lost items. Although it was a lot of work, we were glad to be able to help out. My next big trip took me to the Barren Islands, where I had the opportunity to go out on the research vessel, the Tekla, meaning eagle and Aleut, and help tear down an old shed and build a new one. On my trip, I saw some amazing scenery on the 5-hour boat ride it took to get there, a ton of birds, and I even got to see quite a few marine mammals, like seals. Once we finally got closer to the barren islands, we became surrounded by whales, and when we passed by one of the islands, we could see stellar sea lions off in the distance. When we arrived at East Amatuli Island, we decided to first relax and have dinner before we got to go to work. We had a great cook from one of the well-known bakeries in town, and the food definitely lived up to my two sisters' bakery expectations. After dinner on the first day, we all gathered aboard the skiff and set off for the beach. We got to have a lot of fun with destruction, and also had to haul all of the rotten wood from the old shed to the beach. But once everything was finally torn down, we could focus on the building of the new shed. And the next day, we started hauling all the lumber from the vessel to shore. There was a lot of lumber to haul, but between a few of us, we were able to get everything to the field camp, including the field camp supplies for the season. During the building process, we started with nothing, but after the initial start of the project, things really started moving. We went from a sandy area to having posts, to a floor, and finally to the walls. We hoped to get everything done on schedule, but unfortunately, we ended up having to stay an extra day to finish up the shed. By the end, we were all happy we finished it. We went from trying to get everything perfect to trying to get off the island in time, so we started moving a little faster and ended up making a few mistakes. But luckily, it's just a shed. This truly was a summer to last a lifetime, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work here on the Alaska Maritime Wildlife Refuge. Everyone was a blast to work with, and I'd really like to thank the refuge staff and especially the volunteers for everything they do. Words can't express how much I enjoyed my first year of SCA, and I'm looking forward to what lies in the future. Thank you everyone for making this a summer to remember.